Dr. K. Srilata, HODs, faculty members of St. Peter's Engineering College, participants from various colleges. A very good afternoon to you all. I'm very happy to announce that we are conducting a 5-day FDP on artificial intelligence solutions for power systems problems. And for this FDP, we have got a very good response. We have limited the participants for 200, and we got from different colleges and from 14 states and more than 110 colleges, we got response. And the very objective of this FDP is to introduce, to ignite research abilities, research skills, and to improve the research skills in the area of artificial intelligence applications to power systems problems. I feel this FDP is very useful for research scholars and also those who have completed and those who are on the track of research, and it will be very useful. And I hope all participants will enjoy this FDP and get a very good benefit of knowledge from this FDP. And I thank our management, principal madam, and all for their encouragement and support for conducting this FDP. Now I invite our professor in EEE department, Dr. B. Brahmaya, and controller of examinations to give this valuable speech for the participants. Brahmaya sir, please welcome sir.
Yes sir, yes sir. Respected Secretary sir, Principal Dr. Srilata madam, my dear convener Dr. G. Jaikrishna, convener, co-conveners Mr. M. Krishna and Mr. K. Gopinath, today's eminent speaker Dr. J. Viswanatha Rao, Professor in VNR, VJET, my dear participants from India and abroad. A very good afternoon to all. There is a tremendous response for this FDP with 200 participants across 14 states of India and participants from abroad. Artificial intelligence is a very popular area. It is a boon that can help to optimize any problem. This FDP will create some awareness how to solve problems of our systems using artificial intelligence. It is very useful to researchers and academicians. I thank today's eminent speaker, Dr. J. Viswanatha Rao, Professor in VNR VJT, for readily accepting our invitation to share his knowledge with the participants. I request all the participants to utilize this FDP to the maximum level. I wish you all the best for the organizers. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite our principal madam, Dr. K. Srilata, to address the participants. Please, madam. All participants, please mute your audio systems. Participants, please mute your audio systems. Srilata,
Department Senior Professor and Controller of Examinations of St. Peter's Engineering College, Dr. Brahmaya Garu. Today's convener of the program, HOD EEE, Dr. Jaikrishna Garu, and the coordinators, Mr. Krishna and Mr. Gopinath, and participants from all over India and abroad. Today's resource persons, my friend, Dr. Vishwanath Garu from VNR VJIT, Professor in VNR VJIT. My dear participants, a very good afternoon, one and all. At first, I would like to thank the Department of Electrical Engineering for coming forward in our institution and feel like everywhere hardware is involved and there is no need for us to concentrate on soft computing techniques. But friends, artificial intelligence has more power system applications like planning for generation expansion, power system reliability, transmission expansion and reactive power, especially control of voltage, frequency and stability and power flow, control of fuel cells and thermal power plants, automation for restoration management, planning and operation of the distribution system, demand side response and management, smart grid operations, etc. So as an electrical engineer, it is our minimum responsibility to understand all the applications as well. There is a lot more to do in research as an electrical engineer, and I hope our webinar will definitely enlighten your knowledge. Once again, on behalf of our management and myself, I thank all the resource persons for their acceptance, and I thank all the participants for joining our program. We have eminent speakers on the above topic, and I assure you that after the 5-day program, you will enjoy all the sessions and will take away some knowledge of this program. I once again congratulate the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering for coming up and organizing this program, and I wish them all the best for the successful completion of this program. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you one and all the best.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Now I invite our Secretary Sir P.V. Reddy Garu to address the audience. Audience, please.
Principal of the Institute, Dr. K. Srilata, the Professor of EEE Department, Brahmai Sir, and the Examination Controller of St. Peter's Engineering College, and the organizer for this HOD for EEE Department, Dr. Jay Krishna, organizing persons, Krishna and others, and my dear participants. Good afternoon to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure to be a part of these programs. Especially, I'm very pleased to see a lot of our faculty members in all departments are busy in FDPs. When the whole world is worried about COVID and all those things, okay, worrying is always, it doesn't help us in any way, but we are going to utilize this particular time to enhance our skills. And there is no better enhancement of skills than FDPs for faculty members. And we have been busy all these years. We did not get time to do that, but now we got the time and we are using it. And I appreciate all of you, all the participants and everyone for coming forward to be a part of this particular training program. And artificial intelligence is normally synonymous with CSE department and IT department. But if you just look into deep that, without EEE, mechanical, civil and other departments, there is no meaning for artificial intelligence. We need to use the use the technology of artificial intelligence to use our equipment, our facilities, like all the things that we have in the house, in the factories and in all these equipments. And all of these run with electronic, electrical, mechanical, and all these things. Now integrating all of them, having those programs, having that as one of the topic here is amazing. I would like to thank the resource people who all come forward to train our participants here. Thank you so much, and I hope you'll all have a great time in teaching them, and especially our audience, our participants will have a wonderful time in learning these things. I would like to wish you all the very best, and congratulations to EEE department, and appreciations to our top management for helping them to go ahead with this. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your support and valuable guidance and valuable notes, sir. Thank you very much. Now I invite Mr. M. Krishna, Assistant Professor in EEE Department, St. Peter's Engineering College. We invite to introduce our resource person, Dr. J. Vishwanath Rao, sir, for today's session.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to introduce today's speaker. Firstly, a very good evening to all participants. A warm welcome to all of you for this 5 days FDP. Now, I would like to introduce today's speaker, Dr. J. Vishwanath Rao Garu. Sir, currently working as a professor, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, VNR Vijay IT, Hyderabad. Specialized in electrical and electronics engineering. Dr. J. Vishwanath Rao has done his graduation and post-graduation from JNTU College of Engineering, Anantapur, and received doctorate in 2010 from JNTU Kakinada. He has worked in different administrative positions like principal, dean of academics, vice principal, head of the department. Sir has received Best Teacher Award for his academic excellence in the year 2009 from JNTU Kakinada, and received IET CLN Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Inspiring Teacher Award for the year 2014-15 in Chennai. Sir research areas are artificial intelligence, power systems, electrical distribution system, and smart grids. Sir having wide range of research experience with more than half century research publications. Now, I'm welcoming Dr. J. Vishwanatharao Garu to continue the session.
Please welcome, sir. Vishwanath, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening to you. Good evening to you.
Good. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Nice introduction, Mr. Krishna. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to St. Peter's Engineering College. Mr. T.V. Reddy Garu, Secretary, and Principal Dr. K. Srilata Madam, and the Convener Jay Krishna Garu, and what we call Brahmaya Garu, who is a professor. So all of you, because of you only, I'm here today. And I'll share my presentation. I hope. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me start my presentation. Just I'm dealing with my PPT is visible now for everyone. Yeah.
Visible, sir.
Yeah, fine. Let me start with that. This is Swarm Intelligence and Application Electrical Distribution System. Let me introduce myself. I'm J. Vishwanatharao, Professor in VNR VJIT. Yeah, first, before entering into the topic, just let me give you brief what we call current scenario of electrical distribution system. In that case, everyone aware that what is power system, because everyone is a lot of faculties available and in the a lot of faculty, a lot of students. So just let me give you a brief about that. We know that power system, which includes generation, transmission, distribution part. Just I'll give you one slide. I'll make you clear of everything. So everyone is aware that the generation can be taken place in around 11 kV and 90% of the cases, 11 kV voltage, we are generating the voltage. And when you come to the point of transmission case, we are having a different type of voltages like 400 kV, 220 kV, 110 kV, 66 kV AC lines. Current mark, what we call India's highest transmission capacity is 765 kV. We used to call it as a EHV AC transmission. There is a recent one advancement is happened in EHV AC, that is a 1200 kV line in Madhya Pradesh, that is under testing condition. Actually, there is a two more HVDC lines is also there. That is around 800 HVDC lines. That is from Champa to Kurukshetra, Alipur to Agra. These are the two which is commissioned in 2017. So this is a overall scenario of your transmission part. Coming to point of your distribution, so we are aware that there is two types of distribution. One is 11 kV, another one is what we call one is primary distribution, another one is secondary distribution. Coming point of primary distribution, it is 11 kV, 33 kV, 66 kV. These are the three levels of distribution. We used to go ahead with that. Coming point of secondary distribution, there is a 440 volts three-phase what we call a three-phase system. And the coming point of household purpose, we know that it's a single phase, it is a 230, and three phase, it is a 440 volts. Yeah. The agriculture consumption is 17%, commercial consumption is 8.24%, traction consumption is 1.5% around. So the total share of your fossil fuel renewable energy, there is a fossil fuel is around around 80%, and renewable energy is around 20%. Because this is a very huge production, because we are developing country, we are having a very good installed capacity and power generations in India. Actually, when you compare with the global level, the gap in the supply and demand is 11.35% at global level. But when it comes to India, it is only 8.6%, which is consistent. Yeah, fine. Coming point of the losses, because we know that there is a lot of transmission distribution losses is there, which is around 22%. Actually, why I mentioned that 40% and 10% in bracket, in the sense the 10% is where they are having a sophisticated infrastructure, they could able to maintain the losses with the 10%. Where the remote area, that is the rural areas, they could not able to maintain the proper infrastructure. In such a cases, the losses are almost 40%. So we already know that the AT and what we call C losses, that is aggregate technical and commercial losses, are around 19%, which is coming because of technical losses, theft, inefficiency in building, commercial losses, default in payments, all these things. Okay. When you come to the point of what we call, this is a total losses scenario. Because why I'm stressing on losses, because my part is dealing with the losses. Because ultimately we could able to save the energy. That is my intention of presentation. When you come in point of second point, that the per capita energy consumption in India is what we call very low as comparable to with advanced countries. Just I have given one comparison over here. One is India with the China. So there is a 1,181 kilowatt hour per capita energy consumption in India. And when you compare with the China, China is around 5,161, which is 4 times bigger than whatever we are consuming per head. So they are consuming more than that. It means that the production point of view, their production industry is growing like anything. Because of that reason only, that China could able to supply several product, what we call such a growth to the, because everyone knows the maximum products which we are getting from toys side or the cell phone side, from toys to cell phone, we are getting from China. So because the per capita energy consumption will show you how your production efficiency is. So that is most important on that part. So actually, when you see the statistics of how much of power, because we know that there is a 1 megawatt of the power generation, it require around 4.5 to 5.25 crores of the money. And the transmission distribution cost, because to establish a towers, what we call the transformer, everything, transform, everything which comes around 2 crores. So it is roughly around 7 crores of the money is involved to make 1 megawatt to reach consumer. When you're coming point of energy intensity part, what we call per unit GDP is higher as compared to the Japan, USA, and Asia by 3.7 times, 1.55 times, and 1.47 times, respectively. This indicates inefficient use of energy, but also substantial scope for energy saving. Actually, there is a lot of energy can be saved in India because we are reached enough growth in a generation, but there is a lot of lapses are there in the case of distribution sector. Can be saved by implementing energy efficiency and what we call energy planning and management. These are the two things which we need to implement so that 25,000 megawatts of the power can be saved. Just to imagine 25,000 megawatts into 7 crores of the rupees. It is 1,75,000 crores of the money can be saved. This is regarding what we call, because here my intention is to show that there is a lot of scope is there to save the power, because there is a lot more what we call intelligence techniques, that is artificial intelligence techniques have come where you can save the power. Because my limitation is only to, because artificial intelligence is having a lot of scope, but my limitation is only swarm intelligence, that is a particle swarm optimization or DPSO. Coming point of broad spectrum of artificial intelligence, there are two-folded research topics. One is how computational techniques can help when studying the biological phenomena. Just you see the example of your X-ray when you go to the when the person come as a patient to the doctor, he will take the X-ray and he will do certain, because that X-ray will give you certain image patterns by saying that person is suffering from TB or that person is suffering from disease, something like that. So that is your computational technique is helping to study the biological phenomena. What is a biological phenomena? The body, they are assessing human body by taking that image patterns. There is a lot of computational techniques need involved into that. So we need to take, because another example is MRI scan, this, that, something like that. The other part of the artificial intelligence is that how biological phenomena can help to solve the computational problem. Because one is either computational technique, that is our mathematical modeling will help biological phenomena, and how your biological phenomena can help what we call to solve our complex problem. That is a day-to-day complex problem, whatever we are getting, that can be solved by biological phenomena. We'll try to see that what is this biological phenomena, what sort of biological phenomena can be taken into consideration to solve our complex problems. So in these two research topics, my focus is on second topic, that is how your biological phenomena can help to solve your complex problems. There is already, we are aware that there are a lot of computational techniques have been what we call involved. One is swarm intelligence, genetic algorithm, artificial neural networks, anti-colony search optimization, hybrid optimization, wavelet transformation. So everything is having its own way of what we call intelligence. For example, if you see artificial neural networks, just you can imagine that how you could able to lift your hand, because lot of your brain in your brain, lot of neurons has to work to lift out your hand. Okay, that command has to be given to your brain by stating that you need to lift your hand. So while lifting your hand, it is not so easy that there is a lot of, because there is a lot of neurons are working behind that. So that is, you are training you're training your what we call neurons to say that you can lift your hand. That is a biological phenomenon. So that biological phenomena can help to solve your computational technique. I hope you understood the basic thing on that. When you see that, another one is that anti-colony search optimization. Just you see that how there is a sugar in your houses. You might be seeing that there are a lot of ant row is following or eat your sugar. So they are leaving certain chemical to identify the path for remaining ants. So this is actually there is a biological phenomenon. So it is a naturally they are doing their job. And how can we implement that phenomena to solve our complex problem? So another one is that hybrid optimization. So there is if you use your problem, part of the problem can be solved by your ANN, part of the problem can be solved by ACO. You can say that it is a hybrid optimization. So my focus is on first topic, that is a swarm intelligence. So why should I take in a swarm? That is a PSO, that is a particle swarm optimization. So because optimization technique inspired by the swarm intelligence have become increasingly popular from the last what we call decade. They are characterized by decentralized way of working with the mimics the behavior of the swarms of social insects. So like birds flocking and fish schooling. So you might be noticed that while seeing your geographical channel and all those things, you might be noticed that all fishes will go in certain direction. All birds will be flowing in what we call certain direction. They will form as a group. Swarm is nothing but group. So you can, those things will be formed as a groups and they will follow certain directions to reach their destination. So that is a main mimic of this particular swarm intelligence. The advantage of these approaches is over traditional techniques, because you might be known that there are so many traditional techniques. As comparable to that, there is a very robust and flexible. This is one of the successful design paradigm that deals with increasingly complex problem. Let me give you origin of what is a swarm intelligence. Just you can see that there are two photographs over here which mention that how birds are flowing, how the birds are what we call coordinating their behavior, because one bird will have a coordination with other bird, so that how can birds or fish exhibit such a coordinated collective behavior. Here you can see that the collective behavior of simple individual, because every individual is interacting with each other, it is called swarm intelligence. So here every birds or fishes will interact with each other and they will reach their goal. That is called swarm intelligence. So coming point of developers, particle swarm optimization is actually developers are there is a James Kennedy and Russell Eberhard. These are the two professors who are working in Purdue University. They invented this in 1995. They inspired this by social behavior of bird flocking or fish schooling. So actually methodology is very simple. So because if you take any artificial intelligence methodology like genetic algorithm or any other part, anti-colony search optimization, gray wolf algorithm, all these methodologies having little bit more and more what we call parameters need to be defined in that. But when you come to the point of PSO, there is only 3 parameters need to be defined. One is X, P, V. So what we call X is a swarm, and P is a position, and V is a velocity. Here you need to define these 3 to go ahead with your what we call methodology point of view. So X, P, V, that is your swarm. Another one is position, another one is your velocity, because your board has to move from one direction to other, that is with one direction to other, what we call another, one position to other position with a certain velocity, so that is changing its position from P1 to P2. So for this, there are two values are required. One is what we call P best, another one is G best. We used to call it as a P best and G best. So in the case of P best is nothing but when you run the iteration, it is going to become give you local best value. That is a one local iteration part. When you see for example, you might be run your program for 10 iterations. So after 10 iterations, whatever the value you are going to get, that is going to become G best value. That is called global best value. That is called global best value. So here, basic thing, how a particle is moving. Just you can see that here in the case of xk is a particle. Xk is a particle, and it is moving towards xk plus 1. How it is taking, this is xk is a swarm actually. That is a one particle. X is one particle part. It is moving from xk plus 1. So moving from xk to xk plus 1 with a velocity of vk plus 1. So how we are going to get this vk plus 1 is nothing but vk, that is what we call current velocity. Another one is that what we call a weighted random portion of P best. It is called P best, that is a local best value, velocity of personal best or local best we used to call it, and the weighted random portion in the direction of global best. When you take these three, that is a current velocity and the P best value and G best value, you will get this Vk plus 1, that is, which gives you direction and velocity which moves from xk to xk plus 1, So modifying its position, because here you need to assume that xk is a one, or either it might be a fish or it might be a one bird, and it can be moving from xk position to xk plus 1. So we need these three velocities, so that those three velocities can be combined into one equation which can be moving from xk to xk plus 1. So the basic equation to modify your what we call position is nothing but Vik plus 1. So Vik plus 1 is nothing but weighted rand, W is nothing but inertia weight. Because most of the cases, the students used to, or people used to ask me, sir, why this inertia weight? So inertia weight, when you see the search space, just now when we have seen the search space, x is x and y. These are the two search space. This is the one search space. In that search space, you can, if velocity with certain velocity, if one particle is moving, if even though it attains its defined value, if you are not having this W value, W, that is inertia weight constant value, then it will overflow that particular optimum value. So because of that reason, we should have that inertia weight values. So, and acceleration constants, so that is C1 plus Ct is equal to 2. So C1 is equal to Ct is equal to 2 value, and the random values are R1, what we call random 1 and random 2 values. So that is from 0 to 1. Current position of the particle particle I at iteration k. So this is a P best and this is a G best case. So the current position can be modified because this is current position and this is a next position. This can be added to this. So xik is a current position and Vik plus 1 is the velocity of that. So xik plus Vik plus 1 will give you value of xi k plus 1. All swarm particles tend to move towards better position. So hence the best position can be obtained through the combined effort of whole population. And other parameters in the PSO is just now we discussed regarding inertia weight. It is what we call rate inertia weight, which shows the effect of a previous velocity vector on the new vector. So that is this is the basic equation: WW max or W max minus minimum iteration, maximum, and iteration count. See here, the iterations are based on your problem you need to define. It is what we call once it is reaching its a convergence value, you no need to define your it what we call beyond that. Once you need to make it sure that your system is going to become converged. So once it is converging, then you can say that what we call remaining is not required. The convergence meaning is that there is no further progress in the system. There is no further development in the system. So in such a cases, there is no need to run your system for what we call, if your system is taking 10 iterations, so you no need to run your system for 100 iterations. The meaning is it's instead of wasting, it's wasting your time. So decision making will become delayed. And what we call, she and Eberhard has given certain guidelines. How can you decide your W max, that's the inertia weight value, and that is a minimum and maximum. So you no need to bother about that. So whatever the complexity of the problem it might be, but when you're coming point of inertia weight values, it might be 0.4 for minimum cases, and maximum cases it is a 0.9. So this is another constant which we need to define. Acceleration constants. So C1 plus C2 is equal to 4. The complex, based on the complexity, you need to, because I'll prefer better to go for C1 is equal to C2 is equal to 2. That is it. It is C1 is equal to 2 and C2 is equal to 2 for any type of problem. And the remaining you can modify based on your swarm size and the number of iterations part. Jaykrishna sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Is it fine? Everything is fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Update of P-best and G-best. So just what we call the P-best of each individual I at iteration K is updated by taking the what we call P-best IK and XIK, P-best IK, P-best IK minus 1. This is the updation phenomena where you can every particle has to move from xk to xk plus 1. So meanwhile, these 3 steps has to be followed. That's all. So once you could able to follow these 3 steps, and last one is ultimately it is a stopping criteria that might not your convergence value. So coming point of basic algorithm, it's a very simple algorithm, because the most of the people will choose PSO because it doesn't have a much more computer code, blah blah, making that these equations, because just a simple algorithm. Once you could able to code it, it is a will give very wonderful result. So just I'll go through with the algorithm part. Just you need to initialize particle, because you might be taking your particle, it might be 10 particle, 5 particle, 20 particle, 100 particles. There is nothing but swarm size. There is nothing but bird size. There is nothing but fish sizes. Fish, how many fishes you might be having, something like that. And do for each particle, you need to calculate your fitness value. If the fitness value is better than the what we call best fitness value, that is a local P best value, then the fitness value will become new P best value. That is a N part. Choose the particle with the best fitness value of all the particles as a G best. So do N will give you local best. After that, this will give you G best. That is a global best. That is among all iterations. For each particle, calculate the particle velocity according to velocity updation equation, because we know how can we update the equation. update particle position according to position update equation, and n. When you reach your maximum number of iteration or minimum error criteria, because every case criteria might be, you may fix up your criteria by saying that if this iteration error and last iteration error might be 0.0001, then my system need to come out. Then immediately that will consider as a end part, so that it will come out of your what we call problem. So you will get, that is you can define whatever may be your stopping criteria. Otherwise, you can give a stopping criteria by saying that my program has to run for 10 iteration. After that, it has to come out, something like that. So why I have chosen the PSO? Very, very simple in concept. PSO can be implemented in few lines of computer code is required, because in this case, objective function can be directly used as a fitness function to guide the search in PSO. In PSO, every particle remembers its own previous best value as well as neighbor best value. Therefore, it has a more effective memory capability than GA, because as comparable to just have done comparison with the genetic algorithm part. So I'm giving you that what we call advantage with the GA. Because when you compare with the GA, PSO is having a fast conversion rate as comparable to GA part. Yeah, these are some of the electrical distribution system where you can implement your PSO or DPSO. Just let me give you small difference between the PSO and DPSO. PSO is nothing but it is a continuous form of variable. That is your variable can be varied very continuously. But when you come to the point of DPSO, that is a discrete part of the variable you need to consider. That's all. There is a basic small difference is there between the PSO and DPSO part. Coming point of areas, you can apply for load flow methodology, you can apply for optimal conductor selection, optimal capacitor placement in the distribution system, because here we have considered the radial distribution system for our what we call case study, and network reconfiguration for loss reduction, network reconfiguration for load balancing, voltage regulator placement, and distribution generation. There is a DG placement, etc., etc. You can implement wherever you want. You will get your result very nicely. Because when you see the load flow method, because as you are aware that there is one constructive difference is there between the transmission and distribution system. When you come into the transmission system, that system is having high voltage and low current system is your transmission. When you come in point of the distribution, it is a low voltage and a high current system. Because of that reason, and the XYR ratios are also vary. So that is another part. And you cannot implement your Newton-Raphson method or fast decoupled load flow methods or any what we call Range-Kutta method, something like that, which you cannot what we call do those things by in the case of what we call distribution load flow. And everywhere you need to have because system dependent load flow should have, then only you can implement or you can what we call execute your optimization method into the, it might be into the system. That is, it might be 26 node system, or it might be what we call 33 bus system, it might be 69, it might be 128, whatever it may be. So everywhere you should have your own load flow methodology. So everyone aware that load flow method is nothing but it is going to give a steady state analysis of the system. So this is just because I'm concentrating on the only two parts. First one is load flow, another one is optimal conductor selection. So these are the two areas which I have considered to explain you how what we call methodology is implemented in the part of load flow method. So coming point of load flow method for radial distribution system. So because we are aware that most fundamental and widely analysis tool is your what we call load flow method. In here you can what we call you can find out steady state condition of the system. You will find out what is your real power losses, what is reactive power losses. You can find out the load angle. Usually load angles will not consider in the distribution system because it won't cross more than 3 to 4 degrees, which doesn't give you much more effect of result. So because of that reason, most of the distribution systems load angles are not considered. But what we call, and the performance of the system, effectiveness of the system, all of these can be carried out by using your load flow. So this is a basic mathematical formulation which we have done. Here you can see that there is a what we call circuit model branch. Here the superscripts of this LFI indicates that load flow and injection, load flow and injection. Here K node, this is M node. From K to M node, and this is the injection part. This is your load part, and what we call, this is your flow part. This is your flow part. So this is a complete your what we call two bus system have been considered, where K to M, K is a one node, M is another node. We have taken the basic equation PM and QM. So the values of real power, effective, active, and reactive powers at M node, PM, QM, and PI, QI has been taken into consideration. The complex voltage at node M can be written as Vm, that is a voltage at node M, will be considered as Vk minus I of I Zi. So here Vm will be get this minus of this drop. So Vm will be considered this value, this voltage, that is minus of Vk minus of this drop, that is a branch drop. Yes, you can see Vk minus of this branch drop. By solving this equation, this is the basic equation. By solving this, voltage at node M can be considered as this is the equation for that. So you need to solve this equation, you will get this. Yeah, fine. Once calculating the voltage at all nodes, the current flowing through the branch is given by. So just this is a basic formula. What is a branch current is given. So voltage at kth node, voltage at M node divided by impedance part. That is a difference in the two nodes of the voltages divided by the impedance will give you what is a branch current at that what we call branch. And when you're coming point of real and reactive power losses, just basic equation have been taken into consideration, I square R, I square X. This is a what we call taken into consideration of the number of branches from I to NB, number of branches cases. This is your what we call, just have considered the to simply explain what is a basic thing in 15 node RDS. So here the first column shows the serial number, adjacent node is this is a second column, adjacent branch is this one, because this whatever the 15 node radial distribution system, you cannot feed as it is to the system. So because of that reason, this is a methodology where right side table will show you how you can feed this 15 node RDS system into the what we call computer. So this is the 11 kV 15 node RDS, which is a standard IEEE system. Because when you run the load flow by using your what we call PSO, the real and reactive power losses are 60 kilowatts and reactive power loss 59 kVAR. Total real and reactive power loads are 1,226 and 1,250. The real and reactive power losses are 4.92%, 4.74%. The number of iteration is taken only 3, and minimum voltage is in the system is 0.9424 per unit. At node 13, and voltage regulation is 5.7. So this is a simple basic load flow to explain you how your artificial intelligence will help in a computational problem. So here have been proposed by a simple load radial distribution system with the basic of simple algebraic equation. Yeah. Now coming point of our original work, that is optimal conductor selection. This is what we call, because when you see on the roads, you might be noticed that there are several ACSR conductors have been pulled from one pole to another pole, and in between there are a lot of connections have been given to the domestic consumers. But frankly speaking, what we call the Indian scenario, they will never calculate what is the actual load and what is their what we call how much they are drawing from that particular conductor. Because you might be noticed that several vehicle, because every conductor is having its thermal capacity. Once it crosses its thermal capacity, that's a thermal limit. So definitely the conductor will blow down. There is so many cases have been occurred where the conductor itself will blow down. So just because of this reason, we worked on this. Our PSO algorithm will help to find the optimal conductor selection. This PSO algorithm will define and determine the maximum current carrying capacity and acceptable voltage levels of the radial distribution system will be given by using as addition to that maximum savings in capital cost of conducting material, so and the cost of energy. So this is actually what we call a point of one of the crucial area where lot of losses are occurring in India. So because most of the losses which we are getting in India is because when you see the generation part, the minimum number of the losses is very minimum, because there is a sophisticated generators have been developed, and there is a sophisticated what we call brushless what we call there. When you come to the BLDC point of view, where if you see the even alternators, synchronous generator, there are so much of advancement has been taken place. So because of that reason, their losses is not hardly less than what we call 8 to 10%. But when you come to the transmission part, it won't cross more than 4 to 5%. But the maximum percentage of the distribution, maximum percentage of the losses are occurring only in the area of distribution system, where there is a lot of what we call lot of attention need to be focused by the young engineers, where they can concentrate and they can, because there is a lot of scope of reducing the losses in the case of distribution system, because we have seen that almost 25,000 megawatts of the power can be saved. There is what we call, because of that reason, here is the what we call because optimal conductor selection is one of the important area, because there are so many areas where network reconfiguration, voltage regulator placement, distributed generation, because most of the loss as per what we call norms of the Ministry of the Power, it is almost what we call 22% of the losses are occurring on the whole of the system. When you see that among the 22%, 70%, again the 70% of the losses are occurring only in the part of distribution sector. So just you can imagine, so how much of power is what we call we are losing in the distribution sector. So coming point of load flow in the conductor selection. So just you can see that voltage equation is because the basic load flow equation is modified based on your type of the conductor. The same equation I have used, which we used in the load flow. The active and reactive power losses are same. Yeah, coming point of objective function. So we know that the objective function should give you minimize your cost of energy losses and capital cost. So here, cost of energy losses and capital cost. There is a type of the conductor has to be taken into consideration. So annual cost for loss in the branch I with a C type of conductor. So CL I, C, PL I, C. So this here we have taken annual energy loss constant, loss factor, real power losses with a C type of conductor. Yes, coming point of your capital cost, here annual capital cost for branch I with a C type of conductor. So here you can see that type of conductor is in discrete value. Type of conductor is in discrete value. You need to optimize your C value here. What is the type of conductor is C? This is a what we call value of what we call your discrete value. So total your evaluation of your fitness function is taken. This is your fitness value. We are aware that fitness value is need to be minimized. So your capital cost what we call need to be minimized by taking into consideration, minimize the value f is equal to 1 by 1 plus f. So if you are not keeping this 1 over here, so if your value fitness function value will become, if it becomes 0, then it lead to infinite. So because of that reason, we should keep this so that it will not lead to infinite result. Algorithm for optimal type of conductor selection. So this is algorithm. Read system data such as line data, load data, which is given in IEEE standard test format. You need to initialize your PSO parameters. What we call initialize the swarm, assigning the random position and velocity in the problem, hyperspace to the each particle, where each particle is a solution to the optimal type of branch conductor selection, and run the load flow and compute the fitness value of each particle. So now you need to find out the each particle fitness function and compare the present fitness value with the historical best fitness value, that is a local P best and global P best, and find the G best value from the obtained P best value. Apply the boundary condition because it should not cross certain boundary conditions. We need to apply based on your problem. Update the particle velocity. Execute your step 4 to 8 for number of iteration and stop the execution. Display the G best value is your G best is nothing but your result. Yeah, for understanding the illustration, just I have taken the example of 26 node radial distribution system. This is one of the practical data which we collected in the Anantapur 33 by 11 kV distribution system from the AC office. So this is a total practical 26 node distribution system. What we call the data is what we call that I'll give in appendix. So where the values have been considered from the realistic problem have been taken. Just you see that the parameters of the or what we call 26 node. Here you can see that number of agent, number of particles, number of iterations, initial value of 0.9, 0.4 acceleration constant. Here you can observe that number of particles I have taken 5. The meaning is that if you are having a 5 particles, you can increase whatever you want. That is optimum value can be considered based on your problem. Once by keeping all these parameters as by given input to what we call your problem. So the branch number 1 to 16, and because almost existing conductor is visual, because already you are knows that conductor type is given in terms of mink, ferret, squirrel, weasel. The type is given in terms of normal animal's name. In that is in IEEE format is also there, because already they are running with the visual conductor of that particular, that is everywhere they are using. Because when you see the basic system, so this is your substation, this is a lateral, this is a sublateral, so something like that, where because at this point of your conductor might be fully loaded, but when you see this point, and that is under at 17th node, at 25th node, 21 node, 23 node, 19 node, all these nodes are less loaded. All these nodes are less loaded. The meaning is that you no need to run very big conductor, very bulky conductor, because which will involve high cost into that. Because everywhere you can observe that, because they have taken only one type of conductor for whole bus system, that they considered is a visual, that is considered a visual, and it has been modified as a mink, ferret and squirrel. So these are because for example, if you take a squirrel, it is having its square what we call mm size, and it is having its maximum current carrying capacity. So those two are required to define what type of conductor is required. Just you can see that while after running a load flow, we could able to identify your voltage values. Here you can observe that before conductor selection, it was 0.9309. Just beginning of what we call case, we run the load flow and we got the value of 0.9309. And once you run your conductor selection have been done, that is you replaced your vessel conductor with the Ming, ferret, and what we call different type of conductor, it has been increased from 0.9589. The coming point of the losses is also, just you can observe there is a huge difference before conductor selection and after conductor selection. Anyhow, I'll show you this in the what we call by using graph also. But before that, let me explain you what we call. Just you can see that before conductor selection, it is a 154 kilowatts. After conductor selection, your real power loss has been reduced to 73.85 kilowatts. So just you can see there is a drastic difference. Yeah, this is your complete voltage profile. Left side top corner, I have given you the voltage profile. The original configuration is this. One, it is reached to this value and it has been raised to, this is your voltage, actual voltage profile. Once you conductor selection has been done, just you see that how much of voltage can be built up, because one voltage is one of the important criteria where that can reduce a lot of losses. Okay, so this much of voltage profile can be built, and because for sake of understanding level, I have run the system for 100 iterations. But actually, frankly speaking, you no need to run the system for 100 iterations. It is that 10 iterations are enough, because at the sixth or seventh level itself, your system has been converged. Because I hope everyone knows that what is the convergence of the system. Convergence is nothing but there is no further progress in the system. So even though you run, instead of 100 iterations, you may run 1000 iterations also, this graph will not vary. This is summary of test results, which you are what we call, you can say that this is a before conductor selection. It is going to become minimum, because see here there are three conditions I have taken. One is without conductor selection, that is a conductor selection. After conductor selection, I have implemented GA, and this proposed method is nothing but your PSO. So here I'm comparing your PSO with a GA. So these two are artificial intelligence method, and this is your traditionally how much it was. So just you can see that minimum voltage level was 0.93, and by comparing GA, it has given 0.95, and proposed method, it has given 0.9589. This fourth digit variation is also very important to reduce your losses. Just you see real power losses is 154 kilowatts. Just you see existing method, it is that is a GA method, it is a 76 kilowatts. There's a PSO case, it has given 73 kilowatts. And your total cost, because before the cost of running your conductor is 5,04,082 rupees. But if you replace those two things, those conductors, so your proposed method is, if you run it with what we call different type of conductor at different level, it is going to become 2,46,510 rupees. The meaning is that the payback period of whole system will be less than 2 years. So which is because everywhere the payback period is more important in the case of what we call if you want to replace, because you cannot that is economically, it is a what we call feasible. So this is the final observations. It can be seen that reconductoring is necessary for most of the branches, because we observed for 26 bus system, but as far as my knowledge, most of the distribution system has need to be replaced with a different type of conductors. Everywhere what we call it need to be replaced. Then only you can save a lot of power. Minimum voltage is improved from 0.93 to 0.95 at node 18, and that is 2.8% of the improvement is there. Just you can see that your voltage has been improved from 0.93 to 0.95. Voltage regulation is improved from 6.91 to 4.11%. That is around 40.52%. 40.52% of improvement is there. And when you're coming point of total real power losses is reduced from 154 to 73. The reduction in the real power losses is 52.29%. Just you can assume that how much of power is wasting in a what we call just in the case of selection of the conductor. Okay, when you see the what we call cost point of view also, just there what we call 5 lakhs to it is coming around 2.46 lakhs. It is around 51% can be saved. So this is your complete what we call point of selection of conductor selection of conductor in the case of radial distribution system of 26 node in Vidyut Nagar, Anantapur, what we call data. For selecting the optimal type of branch conductor, sorry, just I'm giving you conclusion. Branch conductor PSO algorithm has been proposed. It has been observed that proper selection of conductor will improve the voltage profile. First point we can observe here is that voltage profile has been drastically improved and reduces the active power losses, which in turn reduces the energy losses and the capital cost of the feeder conductor. So this is actually what we call one of the best method, and this method has been implemented to 26 node radial distribution system, and it can be implemented any type of 26 node practical, not only 26 node, any type of radial distribution system. Why what we call, just I'm coming back to your PSO part. This is to understand the scenario of PSO. I have given one scenario because bird flocking, how you can understand the PSO. That is our point. Just you can assume that there is a one what we call group of birds. A group of birds are randomly searching for food in an area. So just you understand that group of birds are randomly searching food in an area. There is only one piece of food in the area being searched. So if you take any search space, there is only one piece of food in that search space. All the birds do not know where the food is because they doesn't know where the food is, but they know how far the food is in each iteration. Because when one bird is having a what we call a link with the other bird with a mathematically how far another bird is, that what is the best strategy to find the food is that the effective one is to follow the bird which is nearest to the food, because what is the best method to reach the food? So we can follow the bird, because once any bird is which is very near, which they can easily see that bird, bird can see that food. So what is the best strategy? Because you don't know where the food is, but at the same time you know how far the food is, but you know how you are where that nearest bird is. So by sharing memory to each bird individual with each other, so it is very easy to follow that bird and to reach your food. To understand that what we call simulation, just I have given you one small simulation. Here you can see that fitness, white one is minimum fitness value, and this what we call dark is maximum fitness value. Okay, here you can see that in the case of search space also, there is some what we call, because you cannot say that everywhere your optimum value is as dark as possible, because here this is not your optimum, this is not your optimum. Even though some cases this may not be optimum, this is your optimum value where you are going to, because all these are just I have taken 9 birds over there, 9 or 11 birds I have taken to simulate this, and they'll find out, because some cases they'll try to find out of this, some cases they'll come to this, but finally they will reach this particular part. Just you can observe over here. Just you can observe over here. See how the second cases birds will move. Third iteration, the birds will move. Fourth iteration, the birds will move. Just you can see that the 5 birds are which is very near to this particular fitness, and the others are moving towards this. Yeah, now you can see that most they see here the 6 birds, because why I consider 11 in the sense 5 are concentrated over here, 6 are concentrated over here. So how these 6 are moving towards this optimum. Again, immediately the next iteration, these 5 will start moving that particular case. Yeah, fine. Now this is for what we call case. Simulate. This is 5 birds and this is 6 birds. And now this is your complete fitness value. It has reached to this fitness value. This is from minimum to maximum case. Minimum to maximum case. So this is my complete presentation. What we call, any queries regarding this? I'm handing session to
Audience, any queries are there? Can raise hands.
Hello,
yes sir, tell me sir.
sir. I'm audible.
Yeah, audible sir, tell me.
Sir, good evening, sir. Nice presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah.
I'm Rajendran from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu.
Yes sir.
And I'm having a small doubt. You have shown that 26 radio bus system. And also you have mentioned that 2 buses are under load. My question is, hello?
Yeah, sir. Please, little bit loud, sir. I could not able to understand.
Okay, yeah. Okay, in our distribution system, the loads are not a constant one because a new customer may add we are doing the analysis in 1 month. New customers are added in the next month. Immediately we can't change the conductor size. So how we can resolve those kind of problems?
No, that is because of that reason. By considering the future prediction, they can add up 30% of the load on each feeder, sir.
Okay.
When you consider, while considering the point itself, because as of now, distribution system is always unbalanced, and at the same time, while considering the conductor itself, because we have run the system practically taken into consideration, and whatever the steady state limit of that particular system have been taken into consideration. But when you go to the practical cases, you can take as a via media of 30% of added load for that particular conductor, so that you can because you are aware that from this substation to there is a feeder to the lateral to sublateral to sublateral, something like that, where is everywhere there is a it is a tree. So because of that reason, while considering the load, you need to take feeder might be loaded all over load, it might be 30% higher. When you consider the lateral, it might be 30% higher than whatever the existing, something like that. There is a 0.3 is additional load. That is a 30% of additional load can be considered for every case.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Anything else?
Thank you.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, I'm not audible, so I could not able to hear
Hello?
you properly. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello. Can we use this method to come quality?
Sorry, madam, not audible to me.
Sir, use this method to detect these by
మేడం మీ వాయిస్ కట్ అవుతుంది.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, yes, madam.
Sir. Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes, madam.
Sir, can we use this method to design a DStatCom by reducing the power quality issues?
Yeah, obviously. DStatCom can be used because
Obviously.
the placement of DStatCom can be decided by using your PSO.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Input parameters. Hello.
Yeah, that's what. How, because that is a based on what is the type of system you are considering. What is the type of system have you considering, and how many DStatComs you are going to place? That makes the difference.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else are there?
And there are so many are giving the share the PPT. Already organizers are having my PPT. They'll share with you.
Okay, sir. I will share. I will share.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
On which basis we can select the conductors, sir, distribution side
Sir, it is not audible to me.
criteria. Selection of conductors criteria on which basis we can select, sir.
Yes. Selection of the conductor only now we discuss now, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There is a type
And
of conductor we discussed now the type of the conductor. There is nothing but selection. No, it is a purely current based, sir, not voltage based.
Okay, sir.
Because you are having, in the case of distribution system, it is a low voltage and high current system. In that case, because our voltage will not be never cross 11 kV or 33 kV. So by taking that as a reference voltage levels, and the remaining we will always depend upon current, how much of current it has to be dragged from the transformer or from the substation.
Okay, sir. One more question, sir.
Yeah.
This criteria we are taking the 20 conductors, sir, for the end of the total cost. If we want, if we can increase the number of conductors, what will happen, sir? What we need to consider?
See, it is not increasing the conductors or not increasing the connections. It is a data need to be taken from the, even though there are IEEE standard test bus systems are there, you need to take that to do your analysis. So once you do that analysis, you will come to know that where you are going wrong. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, this is Saujanya, sir. Hello.
Yeah, tell me, madam.
Yeah, for a smart grid, which artificial intelligence algorithm is used for a quality of power supply? So which algorithm we can use?
No, you cannot justify based on what we call this smart grid. Smart grid are you using with the microgrid case, or you might be using what we call normal smart grid, or because smart grid makes sense, there is a lot of sense is there for smart grid. Because of that reason, if you are using power quality of smart grid, which part it might be on
quality of-
what we call transmission side or distribution side or consumer side. So there are so many areas are there. So consumer side is known because there is only one criteria in that case you need to understand, that is advanced metering infrastructure is required at the consumer level. There is, in the case of smart grids, you may have only advanced metering infrastructure. So your meter will decide what type of loads you are having in your houses. Is it clear, madam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because your advanced meter, your meter will give you intimation to the operator by saying that X consumer will have 2 fridges, 2 ACs, and 1 washing machine, and the power factor of that particular house is this much, and the power factor of and the power quality of what he is using is this much. So that can be fed to a smart grid operator will make use of that. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Shall we go to vote of thanks, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Vishnu sir, despite of your busy schedule in your college works, you have spared time for our FDP today. Thank you very much, sir. And in your presentation, particle swarm optimization, you have explained the basic things very well. And analogy with biological systems and birds, ants and all is very interesting, and all participants are very interested to this topic. And particle movement using PSO is explained very well, and its applications to distribution system with 15 bus is more understandable and reachable to all participants, sir. And the conductor size selection for 20 bus system, distribution system is very excellent, and results also shown. Thank you very much for your presentation, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, one and all, who has given me this opportunity. Srilata madam and TV Reddy sir, Brahmaya sir, Jay Krishna garu, all because of Twitter. Thank you, one and all, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Participants, tomorrow also session will start by 4 o'clock. You can join by 3:50. 3:50 you can join. By 4 o'clock session will start tomorrow. And link will be shared in the group, WhatsApp group. Thank you very much for today. Krishna sir, thank you. Ganchal Dama sir, Principal madam.